I had one of these cacti growing really crazy, so I decided to trim it up. And the most important thing is you want to make sure you know which side is up and which side is down. But these are super prickly, so I can't really grab them too much. So I've cut them. This is the top, this is the bottom, because I cut them in 3 or 4 sections because they were long. They will absolutely take root. These are super simple. I forget what kind of cactus they're called, but man, they'll mess you up. And they do trail and try to grab onto things. They grow aerial roots and they try to grow onto like wood and sides of plants and trees and stuff. So the most important thing now is I do have to let it callus over and dry. I do put cinnamon on the top portions of them. I'll do that later, is make sure that I'm putting cinnamon on the top. Cinnamon is hydrophobic, so it keeps them from rotting. And on the bottom, you can put cinnamon on it too, but I'm going to make sure to plant them in the right direction. So what I like to do is just put a little notch in the top, just so I remember which one is the top. So I'm gonna do that to each of these. Yikes, you gotta be really careful with these. They will absolutely nail you. Okay, that way I know which one is the top in case I lose track of it. It can be very slight, and you don't want to take the center portion off because that's what's going to grow new growth. So it will grow new growth from there. These top portions I don't clip because obviously I know which direction that one is. Same with this one. And they get less prickly the taller they get, or you know, this distal portion is not so bad. And this one, yikes, this one's gnarly. So I'm just gonna give myself a little bit of trim right there so I remember, and because if you plant it like this, it won't grow. It's gotta be like that. So, all right, once I pot those up, I'll show you how I pot them up. I'm going to pot up the prickly cactus. It's really an epiphyte. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. We used to call it the prickle plant. So, you know, I don't know the exact name for it, but we're gonna pot it up. Again, making sure that the top is the top. I made these cuts, these slanted cuts on the top to make sure I knew which side was up. And it is calloused over on both ends. These are not very flimsy. I've had them out, probably 4 or 5 days now, and they are ready to be potted up because they are calloused over and ready to go. So I'm going to use some rooting hormone, some rooting powder, just as insurance. These are gonna root no matter what, but sometimes it does a little bit faster or encourages them a little bit. So I'm gonna tap the roots in there. That's probably a little much, but that's okay. I'm all right with that. And these, since they're prickly, I like to put my finger on the top and push down instead of from the side. I do have my handy dandy tongs, so in case, oh, that's a magnet. I have my handy dandy tongs, so if I need some help, I can grab them a little bit easier. But I'm gonna try it this way and just push from the top. So I'm gonna push. You may have to start a little hole with your finger, and you're just gonna work your way around. This one, since it's curved and I'm not gonna be able to push it very well, I'm gonna go ahead and use my tongs, my finger, and I'm going to push it down about 1 inch to 1/2 inch in the soil. I'm gonna kind of pack it because it's wanting to lean over, and I may have to give it a little support in the end. Oops, see, it grabbed my finger. Let me try it again. I'm going to go on the edge of the pot with this one and see. And it's okay if it leans over a little bit. So, okay. I like that. And this one is going to give me some ouchies. So I'm going to use my tongs. Tap. I'm going to make a hole. I can even use my finger as long as I don't touch the side of those cactus. And kind of pack it in there. Got to be a little careful with these because, man, you grab them the wrong way and you're gonna regret it. They do not forgive very easily. It's their mechanism for survival. That's what they do. That's how they keep from getting eaten in a desert by animals searching for water. I don't love that, but we're going to leave it that way for now. My aesthetic eye does not like that to be leaning over, but it will take root, and then once it takes root, I don't know, I might fix it. We'll see how I feel at the end of this. Okay, so there we are, and I'm gonna take a little stick, tap, 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 because you can't touch these suckers, and I'm gonna go ahead and prop this one up with a bamboo stick, and I will probably put some Velcro around that, but I'm gonna leave that over here. I am, just for giggles, going to put, since I didn't leave them out a full week, I am going to sprinkle cinnamon at the top of the top cuts, just in case they're not fully calloused over. Cinnamon has a lot of properties that help plants, but the biggest one that I use it for is for hydrophobic. Keeps the water out and moisture out. Water and cinnamon do not like to mix, so that's why I use it. It's also great to keep pests away. I believe it's got some root hormone or root encouraging properties, but I really use it for the majority of everything I do, either for hydrophobic to keep the cuttings dry or to keep pests out. So sometimes I'll sprinkle it on the soil if I'm worried about that. But anyway, I'm going to put this outside in the shade under an awning for a couple of weeks so that it has a chance to root up and not get fried by the sun, because it doesn't have roots. It can't take water up into its root system, and putting it under the awning allows me to control the watering. So I'll water it. The initial water, I'll put about this much water into it, about 1 inch to 2 inches of water, just for the initial watering, and I won't let it dry completely out, but I won't water it all the way through like you normally would with a plant that has roots.